Alrighty guys, welcome back to Fur and Feather Outdoors. Today be doing a little bit more in-depth video of the mud motor here. If you go back to the boat tour, I showed it in there, but I didn't really say a whole lot about it. So before it rains here, I didn't have nothing else planned for today, so I figured I'd make this video for you guys that want to put this on your boat or wanting to figure out more about them, because there's not really a whole lot of videos about them, so I wanted to go ahead and do that. So right here is the 18 horsepower Duromax. I got the 3-blade prop on here at the moment, and it does have the stage 1 kit from Go Power Sports with the air filter, exhaust, and silencer. You go buy them separate. It comes with the bigger gas port. Now this is the electric start model, so it has the electric start here with the key, and it also has a pull start as well, which is really nice in case anything was to go down while you're out there. You know, you got extra precautions. This one in particular is for the 18 to 23 horsepower motors with the 1-inch shaft coming out the back of the motor. The only thing I can complain about this is when it came in the packaging, or like when it got shipped to me, it wouldn't just fit up to it, and I also had to drill out some of the motor mounts for it as well, which I wasn't too happy about. But basically what happened with this was there's a shaft or spring of some sort, and it's bendable. That's why it bends up through here. And during shipment, sometimes, because I contacted them, and there's really good customer service over there at Mud Skipper, but I contacted them, they said during shipment sometimes it gets bumped out of place, and basically all it does is it connects down here and to the shaft. That's all it is. Super simple, but you have to take off this lock nut and then this main shaft piece right here that connects to here, and just reposition it. It's not too big of a deal, but for the amount of money you spend on it, it kind of is. But for the most part, it's a pretty simple setup. They give you grease fittings and everything to put in there, and all the hardware is pretty well made. I will say some of these brass fittings that come on it, one of them during shipment broke, and as well as the throttle cable was bent just from shipment. Not really anything they could do. They had it packaged really well, so it's not really their fault in my opinion. I think it's just from being shipped, but they actually did go ahead and send me brand new ones, so I was really happy about that with the customer service over there. As far as it moving this boat, this is a pretty heavy John boat. I think it was between the 500 and 600 pound mark, and this little 18 horsepower moves it around 10 mile an hour. I haven't fully got the trim set up yet to what I like. I've only taken it out once or twice, and so still a little tinkering to do with it, but for the most part I really enjoy it. Let's get started really with the motor. The motor has the electric start on it, and you got your starter back here, and you can just connect these posts back here to your battery. I left this gas tank on here as a safety kind of thing because I have a 6-gallon boat gas tank. If something stopped working on it, I can just hook this gas tank up to it super quick and roll on. This motor does have the dipstick on both sides, so if you have any clearance issues or something like that. I'll show you guys the front of the motor. I did paint it. All I did was make a stencil out of paper and just copied it off of Google and just cut it out and just painted it. And it turned out pretty well, actually. There's the electric start. It has its own circuit breaker. The engine itself does have a low oil sensor, so if you're low on oil, it'll shut the engine off, which is a good thing. Another reason why I got rid of this gas tank, not permanently but for the time being, was because if you don't have enough gas in it, because the motor's tilted up, once it starts getting low, it starts bogging down and dying on you. So I just didn't want to have to worry about that. Gas line setup. Just have a little pump, squeeze pump, the big fuel filter, and that goes right to the carburetor. I actually really like this bike handle setup here. Some people get the different ones, but I think I'm just gonna stick with this one. It's pretty comfortable. I'm gonna switch this around though. That's something I need to do. Switch to the other side. It's got this kill switch here. You hook this tether up to you, so if you were to fall out of the boat, and as well, it's got, focus here. As well, it's got this, so when that comes off, it kills the motor, and then you can also kill it from up here. Now, I am pretty positive this motor has its own charging system, so as long as the motor's running, it's charging the battery enough just to keep it going. I'm pretty sure. I'm not totally positive, but I've definitely run the lights on this thing, and it still has 12 volts after running the motor, so I'm pretty positive. One little tip, whenever you're putting this throttle cable on here, I just went to Lowe's and got some hardware and things, but I did add this spring as so I'd pull it back better. But you have to loosen up this screw on here for it to be able to be free. Because at first, mine was really stiff and I didn't understand why, but I watched some videos. It's just that nut, just loosen it up just enough. You don't want it super loose. But you can get, for this one, you can get different size props for this. This is the one it comes with. But they make 2-blade props that I'm pretty sure are better going through weeds, and they may go a little faster. I'm not quite sure. I think they go up higher in the RPMs anyway. I just bought this gas tank from Walmart, just a 6-gallon gas tank. That way I didn't have to worry about running out of gas. And I bought these battery leads from Mud Skipper as well, and they're really well made. Alright, so we're going to let it run for you. I still got to fix the gas line a little bit. I think I'm going to have to connect a smaller hose to the main gas line coming off the gas tank, just so it'll go down to the connector that actually goes to the carb. But it should start. As you can see, it runs really well. One problem I did encounter while being on the water with this, the first time I took it out, was I had a smaller fuel filter on this, and it kept flooding the carburetor. So as soon as I put it under load in the water, it just died within like 30 seconds. So I put the bigger fuel filter on. We're gonna see if it works better. I'm not even sure yet. If you all have any suggestions, comment down below. It'd help a lot. But it's a really super simple setup. You're gonna need a push pull if you do get this motor, just because it does not have reverse. It's just as soon as you start it, that's spinning. You can pull it out of the water if you don't want it to run, you know, so that way it's not completely unsafe. But it is a really torquey engine. I mean, as soon as it hits the water, it grabs and goes. The whole reason I really got this one was because I didn't want a long tail, because if you let go of them, they're just going to stick way in the water, and I didn't want that. And there's really no need for me to use it, because we just don't have that many swamps around here. I am going to be using this boat for duck hunting and fishing, and I didn't want to pay the price for a outboard. And since I was going to be using it for duck hunting, I imagined I'd be in some thick stuff, so I found these. It goes right through the weeds great. They'll be all up on here and it's still just going. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the setup. It should last me a good while. The engine starts first time almost every time. Really not a lot to complain about. It runs really well. Another thing as well is I have not seen anybody put these on a Grizzly tractor, and from my experience, I'll show you. So this bracket right here, as you can see, normally goes on the other side, but the problem is they put this one here, which is fine because it's made for a bigger motor. But I had to, you see that piece right there, the piece of metal? That is a support for this, because a lot of John boats have the plywood going on the back or something to support it, but that's my support, which is great. But for this mount, I had to cut out a notch for it and flip it around. So that's just some things to think about if you're gonna go with this. Just think about it. Hope you guys learned a little bit. Maybe you'll get you one, and hopefully this helped you out. If it did, comment down below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.